If you suffer from range anxiety when it comes to considering buying an electric vehicle, did you know that silicon is the holy grail to solving capacity issues for electric vehicle batteries? Silicon-based anodes have to 10 times the energy density of a graphite-based anode. That's why Porsche, Mercedes, General Motors are all betting on silicon anode batteries. But there's a catch. While they hold great promise, right now they're known to suffer from significant degradation during charging and discharging. And as you know, that's probably a bad thing, especially if you're in an airplane. Enter HPQ Silicon, a tech company that's proven superior performance of the silicon-based anode materials and is now positioned to become a vital supplier of silicon materials for battery anodes. And today's press release, their Gen 2 advanced silicon-based anode material continues to outperform. Bernard, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, George.
First off, is the shirt an indication of how happy you are?
Oh,
or is it just middle of July?
Well, mixture of two. Well, I was still wearing winter, just to change my mind about the weather. No, I'm ecstatic about this press release. I'm ecstatic about what's going on in our battery work. There's something you have to change in your introduction, okay? Because in addition to silicone being important to improve the battery performance, okay, silicone is going to have a bigger and bigger role in battery for another reason. It's completely geopolitical, all right? Graphite is really controlled by China, and China is exerting a lot of pressure in that regard, therefore making it more difficult to get for battery manufacturers to get graphite. Okay, so it will become extremely important to be able to replace more and more of their graphite by silicone and get a battery performance, better battery performance. So not only is it the graphite and the battery success of the silicone, but is also there is a massive microenvironment. Was it macro or micro? I don't know. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. That basically is going to be a win in our back as we develop this. Okay. So I just wanted this as I was listening to your introduction. Yes, I do actually listen to them. Yeah, it just dawned on me. It's more than just like people think. Okay, just putting a bit of graphite improves the improvement. No, there's a strategic. There is going to be a need, and you feel it by the communication we get with people in different areas, at strategic areas, in people with strategic thinking. This is something big. So don't disregard the fact
that's only going to accelerate, right? As we get closer and closer. I mean, I know we've already got a number of electric vehicles on the road, and batteries are playing a significant role in not just cars but other applications. But as it really gets mainstream, I'm assuming that pressure is only going to climb. There's going to be a clash there.
Yeah, but it's not. People have to realize that, yeah, AV is nice, sexy, big, but anything that has to do with AI requires battery. Anything that has to do with our modern living requires battery, okay? When they put a computer on your oven, at the end, they'll have to put in the batteries just to make sure, everything, the Internet of everything requires batteries, okay? And right now, most of these batteries are made with graphite. Graphite is a limiting factor, okay? I'm not selling this for graphite company, but the only substitution you can start to do is silicone. But you can't take regular silicone that comes out of even the pure vat, okay, to use it in battery material. You got to transform it. That's what we're demonstrating that we can do. That's what we're demonstrating that people are going to be using our material. This is why when we keep saying it, without changing the manufacturing process that's presently done. Okay? Anyway, I can elaborate more later, but for me, these results
are important. Well, and that's why silicon. So that's probably one reason why silicon was finally upgraded by the Canadian government to a critical metal or element or whatever the wording was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, are you after everybody else?
You actually said in your answer there. You said that's why in our discussions. So I'll ask you this question early because I've got it for later. Is the phone ringing? I've asked this, everyone knows I asked you this question.
Phone, email, communication, Teams, Zoom, all that ongoing. Okay.
Outside, I'm asking, is this with outside sources, not just internally, but
no. I'm talking with outside sources. I'm talking with it goes from the gambit from people interested in financing us to people interested in working with us because they know that we have a very unique offering. Okay, what we are offering is going to be, when we get it scaled up, a one-stop shop to get your silicone materials for batteries.
And so when I read this press release, it looked like, all right, great, a great, nice progress forward. It almost seems like investors, you almost spoiled investors because they're thinking the same thing. It's like they're almost expecting this. But you sound a lot more excited because you said at the very beginning, I'm really excited. So how significant? So this is not just a case of just going from Gen 1 to Gen 2. This is more like an exponential jump, it sounds like, rather than incremental jump. So how significant are these results? Talk to us relative to everybody else out there, how significant these results are before we go into the details.
Well, they're very significant for one thing. Like in the industry right now, everybody that's talking silicone and batteries and those issues, except those that from Scylla and what's the other one? Group 14. Okay. Now they claim longer life, or what's the other one also from Israel, Stordot. Okay. All this claim incredibly fantastic results. Absolutely impossible to bring to commercial scale because it's too expensive. At the beginning, Mercedes-Benz with big trucks that are going to use it, for salad. There'll be niche market where it works, but at commercial scale, it's not there. Okay, so these results are phenomenal because everybody in the industry that's doing what we're doing, okay, even all those years they've been working for, they're barely there. I was talking to a battery manufacturer, okay, and somebody who wants to be a battery manufacturer that have a lot of patent, a lot of technology, and it says, "Oh, send us a few grams of material so we can test it on half cells." And we're looking at ourselves as we're already doing full-size battery with our material. That shows you how advanced we are with our R&D. So we know where the industry is. We know where the injection point is for silicone SiOX coming into it. And what I get, being a layman, it seems to be confirmed by my technical guy, is, oh, we are starting to be able to resolve. Like if it with Gen 2, we push back where the big degradation come in by a few 50, 100 more cycles. That's phenomenal. That's what this royalty. So what did Gen 2, what was Gen 1? We put 10%, we got 20% better. We got twice as better with Gen 2, and now we're showing that it's lasting over time. What else can I say?
You have two elements of it. You've got capacity and degradation, and you improved on both.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is the bigger, more exciting of those two results? I know they go hand in hand, but my gut tells
I would dare to say
because that's the biggest problem with silicon batteries.
Yeah, I would say the degradation, because we know internally, like by the 100th cycle, okay, and this is why we keep talking about non-optimized, okay? Because once we start optimizing, we're going to be working at pushing the cycle before. But the more we can push that moment where the degradation starts to come in, the better we are, because the moment we come in with an optimized material, then that's going to have better performance and it's going to last even longer. So we're going to have a better batteries. There's market for what we're developing right now, and they're sufficiently bigger. They're probably twice or three times as big as the fume silica market. Wow. And so for me, it's when I started to write this project, because I had the graph, I took a look at it. Then I started, when I really started to look at it, and I can share and show you the image if you want to.
Yeah, you've got share screen control, so go ahead and put it up.
Okay. So here we're seeing, we got pretty excited about the top results. Okay. And as I explained to people before, you don't measure maximum performance the same way as you do cycle testing. All right. But we got 3,000. Oops, we went to the French one only. Here we go. So, we're staying it's pretty decent down pat. Okay. Remember, the other big capacity we compared ourselves once to Samsung. Okay. They were down to 10% lost in 10 cycle or 10% cycle. I got to wait a minute. Anyway, it's not that important, but their cycle degradation was much bigger. Okay. So we're still over 3,000. We're still over 3,200 mark, 150 cycle, which is very good if you think about this.
How many cycles do you need? Because Gen 1, you went to 150 cycles. Now in Gen 2, you've gone to 150 cycles. I don't know the answer to this, and maybe a lot of shareholders who are watching or listening don't know either.
Mhm.
How many cycles do you need to get to at the final, you know, at the final result? Is it 150? Is it 500? How far away are we from the
You
number
see,
of cycles you've got to go through to really be a proven entity?
okay, first of all, these type of results are proven entity. Okay, so that
Yeah.
already proves it. For the Gen 1, we stopped talking about it 100 cycle for no other reason that we had started the Gen 2, and the Gen 2 was much better than the Gen 1. Okay, so we hadn't really compared to them, and then in our first presentation, our presentation were a bit murky because we were showing the 3 individual line. Now we're just showing the average line. Okay, so then because if we would have used that way, we'd have like 9 line. It would be completely impossible to read. And it was really when we started to take a look at this and says, oh, this is really fascinating. And it proves 2 things. Not only have we improved capacity, we've improved the cycle performance. Okay. If you go 50 on that's a 3%. It's a 3% improvement in the sense that, for a third of the material, we're doing much better than before. That's a big improvement. 33% improvement and more in R&D type of advanced material. Those are big results. Okay, it's going to take a bit of time before it percolates to everybody to understanding those issues, and then we'll have, we'll be moving on to more fascinating. That's the French one. There you go. And this is the one that I found.
That's the one I want to point out to you, devil's advocate. I see that, and I I discount for the fact that it's a graph, and maybe sometimes the way it looks visually is not as dramatic as what the actual result is because of scale and things like that. But having said that, when I saw that, I see the reference line, which is blue, and then I see the Gen 2 line, which is green, and there seems to be a real an accelerated drop off there at at the 110 after 110 after 120 after the 120 cycles. Is that just a visual issue where talk to me about
No,
that?
it's fully expected, but what's really important is to understand is, okay, we're not yet going to be, until we get the optimized material, we're not going to be at the same cycle degradation as graphite. But that's really not the most important key because it's a balance. Okay, you have the added performance. So yes, we degrade a bit faster, but even and let's go back to the other one. Okay, let's go back to here. Even 150. Okay, even 150, we're still over 3,200 something. All right.
You're blowing away. You're
And
blowing away the
the
reference.
graphite is at 2,800. Okay, so it's always a compromise between the battery capacity and the degradation, depending on the end usage. Okay, if you have a usage that requires 150, 200,000 cycle before you change it, because a battery, and according to Apple and everybody in the industry, a battery is a consumable. It's a material that you consume. All right. That's where the situation is. So at 150 cycle, we're still way above where the graphite battery is. Okay. And so yes, we do have cycle degradation, but it is much improved. And what's really keen is this difference. Okay, this delta. Okay, and the delta keeps getting wider and wider and wider. Okay, we're still above 96% of battery performance after 150 cycle. This time they went down to 92%.
If I'm an industry person, okay, I'm a layman right now. So is that still good? Is 96% still good,
Yeah,
or is that?
Of course, it's.
Oh wow, that's a failure. 96% is just
No, it's not a failure. You buy commercial
I know,
batteries.
I'm exaggerating, make a
No,
point,
I know it's a devil advocate, but some people,
yeah.
it's not a failure. Okay, you see, what is a demonstration? Is this clear improvement? So you have 2 clear improvement with the Gen 2. What's going to happen when we starting having Gen 3? Okay. And I'm not going to get into details because I'm going to not give away corporate secret, but this for us gives us so much information and so much understanding of what's going on that how can I say that?
How happy are you guys internally with the balance,
We're
capacity
very, very,
versus
very happy.
degradation.
We're very happy where we are right now in such a short time. Okay. I'll put this in perspective so people understand, because, sometimes FUTs are now going back with a nano reactor. Okay. I would have loved to have been able to get those type of results with the nano reactor, but we didn't, because the nano reactor, because of the technology, the nanotechnology will not work. And it's becoming more and more clearer that although when we started this R&D at lab scale, okay, we thought that would be the way of the future. It is not. But now we're demonstrating these type of results, doing a material that we can make using our QRR to convert it into it. Okay. What people don't realize is nano material is a highly dangerous material to work with. So as you try to industrialize it, you end up adding more and more complexity dealing with those types of material. So when you look at the overall idea of scheme, we were looking for these type of result with our nano material, which we're not getting it. And then we realized, industrially speaking, what we're doing now is much easier, fits much more into the entire scheme of what we're doing. And we're following through on our business plan. What is that? Basically creating a demand for our QRR silicone and creating an added value. And this is all, basically everything that's added value is HPQ Novation together. Okay, so it's sort of more our own proprietary technology moving forward.
Yeah, you're vertically integrating if everything goes well.
And
you mentioned Gen 3.
Yep.
Yeah, you mentioned Gen 3. And in the quote, Dr. Crane says, and I'm just going off memory, but our goal is with the Gen 3 to get over 4,000, which would be a world record if I remember. I can't remember where the world record was exactly.
Well, world record is 4,035, but if we got on average over 4,000, it'd be an incredible mark. And then if we can replicate the type of improvement that we've just done here, that would be another massive improvement. Because if you
just kind of read between the lines, but I'm assuming both Dr. Crane, both yourself, you wouldn't be making statements like that unless, I'm just going to ask, unless you had a high level of confidence. Not guaranteed, but is it right to assume that you guys have a very high level of confidence that with the Gen 3, you're gonna get over that 4,000 mark?
I could tell you, but I don't have to kill you.
You have to kill. You'd have to kill everybody watching.
Exactly. So you know what?
You're probably better spent. You're probably better spend.
Patient young Padawan. That's the only thing I can tell you.
And if you achieve, okay, so you can't really tell us when Gen 3 is coming, but I see how fast you guys move from Gen 1 to Gen 2. So I don't know if I use the same, if that would just be an assumption.
People shouldn't try to figure out timeline or try to figure out, things like things are moving forward. But remember, we're entering into European vacation time. So I'll be playing a bit different in those areas. So there'll be more.
When does vacation time ever matter to you? You don't care if anyone's on vacation. Not
no, but
July
French
or August,
have more strict rules. My employees are allowed to say, you're not allowed to talk to me past these times.
Well, then maybe I should set the same rules for you too. Maybe I should set the same, because so you don't call me when I'm on a beach somewhere. But
I like it when I call you there. It gives you an excuse to run away from the family.
And yeah, which is true. Gives me time. I gotta go. Bernard needs me.
Bernard,
will the Gen 3 also mean that you will be optimized, or
no.
will Gen 3 still be non-optimized? So does that mean if you succeed with what Dr. Crane's hoping to achieve here, could it be even better? Like, could we get Gen 3 and then get Gen 3 optimized, and you're really blowing the doors off this? Like, it sounds like you've got a lot of headroom to go above.
Oh yeah. We got massive headroom. We got massive demand, massive representation where it is. There's plenty of ongoing discussion with industrial partners that are really excited about what we're doing. Different level than what this is, but it might require us to start thinking even more outside of the box than we usually do. But overall, people have to realize that what we've accomplished with our silicone anode material, okay, is phenomenal. You see, the difference is when when we started to talk about the nano silicon in batteries. That was a conceptual idea of saying, okay, we have the QRR. How can we add value to that material? Okay, that first iteration didn't work. It's normal. It's R&D. But the vision hasn't stopped. And now we're executing on that and we're delivering results on this. Okay. And this thing is, the market is 1,000 times bigger than the fume silica market. So imagine how excited I am for the fume silica reactor. This is why I'm more excited, because the applications are more multiple and there is an incredible goal of repatriating, okay, this type of manufacturing from Asia. And we are probably the only, that I can see, there may be 2 others that are trying to do the same thing. And we're in the same ballpark of results that they are. Well, not yet, but whenever Gen 3 results come in, we should be in the same ballpark results as they are.
So are you getting attention? This sounds like it sounds like a duplicate of the interview or discussions we're having during the early days of fume silica, because 2 minutes ago you said we're having ongoing discussions with industrial players, quote unquote.
We have discussions.
So is there interest? Is the phone? Are people watching?
Yes, people are watching. People are watching our interviews. People are asking us questions. It is moving in all parts are moving in the right direction toward the goal. Okay. There will be at a point, there will be a catalyst when something big happens and it starts moving forward. Will it be of the scale of the LOI with Ionic? I don't think so, but it could be, or it could be bigger. There's so many offsetting discussions that are ongoing, because you have to also see, I've mentioned in this interview, okay, 2 massive paradigm shifts that are happening with regard to silicone in batteries. One of them is an improved performance, which we're delivering results onto. Second of them, and replace graphite. The third paradigm shift with regard to silicone in battery is that any other manufacturers of silicone in the world, okay, add to the batteries of the EV cars or the anything that's battery, all right, a massive carbon footprint, because, I like to repeat this, traditional process to make silicone metal basically are the largest emitters of CO2 per kilograms of material done. HPQ, with our pure VAP, okay, we are the only one that generate a carbon credit. So that even from Chinese manufacturer, that is something that they can't beat. So understand the big picture, what we're doing, how it fits together, have the vision of where it's going to go, and look forward. And as I said, and when we said when we talked about our deck after our UGM. Oh, by the way, there's a new version of the deck I've done after where I put the LOI on the
number 68 of 2024.
Anyway,
yeah,
so,
but not to, but sticking with that, when you say silicon replacing graphite, up in this whole discussion we've had, all these discussions we've had is silicon-based anode materials augmenting graphite.
Okay, but remember,
do you see a point where that augmentation gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually could be all silicon? I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn.
That could be like 20 years down the road. That's not
okay.
All right. That's not what the point is. The key point is, and we've been pretty clear about this, okay? What our Gen 1, Gen 2 material is that this is why we have a benchmark graphite, which is 100% of that graphite, okay? And then we basically eliminated some of that graphite, replaced it with our Gen 1, okay? Did the same thing with the Gen 2, got better results. And the Gen 3 is the same concept. So we're all playing around with starting to replicate. So since the beginning, we have been reducing the quantity of graphite in the batteries to replace it by silicone and improving the battery. So we've been doing this from the beginning. But this is now probably becoming an even bigger point of advantage to our technology and our process, okay? As we keep going further down in the cycle, the process, and those issues. So yeah, and the point I wanted to make is, and I think I stopped myself and I sidetracked my own self. Not you, it was me that sidetracked myself. Everything that HPQ is working for, all the silos we're working for, okay, they're all manageable for us to get to very big commercialization without requiring massive amount of capital. It's not like opening a graphite mine, which requires billions of dollars to get it. So
Dude, that's I gotta tell you, one headache that you don't want, and the fact that you've eliminated that from shareholders, which is, all right, this is great. Now all we need is $2.6 billion to bring it to reality, and
yeah,
then like good luck.
I see. That's the funny point. Is like, I go back a bit to fume silicon. People say you're just doing 1,000 ton at the beginning. Okay, but it's all feasible in doing things. But we have massive revenue potential and profit potential with that 1,000 ton, and it can be replicated. Okay, as opposed to a dream sheet, which is a PEA or a feasibility study. Okay, which tells you, oh, great, the return is going to be this, but then the bottleneck becomes the billions of dollar requirements.
Yeah, like one of my clients that I had years ago and have still kind of had off and on, Avalon Rare Metals, one of the biggest, rare metal deposits right in Ontario, and they need like $2.5 billion, and because of that, nothing has moved forward in the last 15 years. So it's great not to have that on the table. By the way, I know we're talking about batteries. I know we're talking about silicon-based anodes right now, but I have to ask because now it's in play. So I got you here. What's happening on the fume? Any quick update? I don't want to turn this into a fume silica, interview, but do you have anything you can provide everyone at home with as far as how the fume silica side is moving in Evonik?
I'm smiling because probably the people that are more impatient for us to to start having the fume silica material is Ionic, not my shareholders. I can't get into the details of all the discussion that we have, all the intricacy of what it is. First of all, I'm not going to share publicly all the points that we discuss. So it would be because it would be to our detriment of our negotiation in our point of view. But a lot of the points that people are rising up are all BS points because we know where we're going in this regard. I can also say, without being too long, is that they want us to speed up the movement forward. So as I told people, Evonik is certainly going to be a gift that we'll keep on giving. Because first of all, they'll validate the material, they'll validate the process, we'll get the things, then we already got a good idea where we're going to commercialization, but until we get the pilot plan going, we're not going to start negotiating pricing and those issues. We're not going to negotiate that.
No, I wasn't even asking that. I'm saying, how's it moving along? Is it moving along
It's
at a good
moving
pace?
very, very well.
How's the
Very, very
energy with you and Evonik? Like everyone pumped up, or
I would use a quote from somebody. They would say they're 100% sure that we're going to succeed at scaling up, which is more.
Well, that's all if they're confident, then I guess we can.
Okay,
maybe
I should put
99.9%,
but like it's without getting into too much of conversations, we know you're going to succeed. Let's start discussing commercial terms now. And our position is, well, let us finalize all the commercial numbers to be doing those type of things. So it's like it's going to be a gift that keeps on giving. Like it's like it's not going away. I don't think our share price replicates this accurately right now because I think people are still underscoring the value of what is a LOI. They overthink what an LOI is, which is basically just a letter of intent. But to get them to being able to use their name means that they want more out of this. Now we want more.
I know this for a fact. For 27 years in this business, I think I said during the interview, multi-billion-dollar, mega cap, multinational companies do not want their name in a press release with George Com widgets. They just don't. So for Evonik to put their name in the press release is to me, in my experience, and guys, it's just me. I'm not giving any kind of, but that tells a lot to me. That says they're sending a signal out to the world that this is us and we've got it first, and we want to take a shot at this here. So all right, great to know that that things are moving really nice on the fume silica side. That's a great little update. That's all I want to ask you. And awesome news here on the Gen 2. And I guess we're gonna wait. I think we're gonna wait for the more Gen. So, question for you. Last question for you. Will there be more Gen 2, or will the next updates be Gen 3? If you can even answer it.
I think it's probably going to be Gen 3, but I won't put up my neck out first, but I think it's going to be mostly Gen 3. So tell me when you're going on vacation so I can annoy you.
Yeah, I'll make sure I keep that under wraps. I'll turn my WhatsApp time zones off so you can't follow me. But no, all kidding aside, buddy, I love when I get the calls, right?
Yeah.
I love when I get the calls. I got the call last night where you're saying, "Hey, you gonna be available tomorrow?" That's all. I love
Yeah.
when I see the phone ring. But congratulations, Bernard. Great update. Love to hear your enthusiasm about how excited you are about this Gen 2 news, because I thought it was just a nice progression, sure, but obviously it sounds like there's a lot more in there. And only you can provide that perspective. And great update on the fume silica. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, because I'm going to safely assume we're not going to be talking on a Friday tomorrow. But even that's up for grabs. But otherwise, have a great weekend to everybody. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great day. See you next time.
Hey Small Cap fam, I hope you loved this interview because more than a dozen people were involved in its production for the sole purpose of making you happy. If so, can you take a moment to support both our awesome guest company and Agora.com? Your engagement means the world to us. First, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up by tapping that like button. It's a small gesture that helps this interview reach even more potential investors to discover today's guest. Second, we would love to hear your feedback on this interview, so please leave a comment below. Be sure to keep it clean, but feel free to poke fun at George. If you loved what you heard on today's video and want to dig into our guest company right away, take a look at the links in the description below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to never miss another great Agora.com small cap video. Thank you so much. We couldn't do any of this without you. Make sure to come back soon.